permit a democratic election, and we will see who wins. We may not win, but we want to be considered a legitimate political party. If Christians can, why not Islam? I don't agree with them politically, but on this they are logical. And what happened in Algeria was outrageous. And here the responsibility is not that of the United States, but the French, which intervened very effectively to tell the FLN to organize a coup d'etat, to prevent the sect. They interrupted a general election because they were fearful that FIS was going to win. And they assumed that the FIS, like the FLN, would be monolithic. But it was not monolithic. Within 6 to 8 months, divisions would have grown in its ranks on many issues. They made them monolithic by organizing a coup and trying to crush them. And many French intellectuals said to me, but we had to do it to defend the rights of women. It's the same as in Afghanistan. I said, guys, the president of Algeria could have made a statement saying, fine, we accept the election result, you will form a government, but Algeria has a constitution which guarantees all its citizens equal rights. If this constitution is violated, then we have the right to act to stop the violation. Why didn't you do that? Ah, well, this is complicated. I said, no, it's very simple. What is complicated is organizing a coup to prevent a general election from taking place and then killing thousands and thousands of people. And you know, this is the mood in Europe today. It is not a very nice mood of Islamophobia. If after 9/11 the United States had decided to lock up in concentration camps all the Muslims of North America, for a certain period this would have been accepted, because that was the mood created after the acts of 9/11. Lock them up. After all, they did it to the Japanese after Pearl Harbor. Let's do it. So they didn't do it, but we know what happened in the United States to many, many people of Muslim origin. I mean, forgetting that Muslims died in the Twin Towers attacks. So this Islamophobia, which is spreading through Europe, and which is encouraged by sections of the media, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy, in my opinion. The way it is done, because it more or less justifies anything. More people taking the law into their hands, and the growth of the extreme right currents in Italy, other places as well. If you look at what these extreme right groups are doing, they are targeting Muslims, saying this is an alien culture, it has no place here. Well, I hope no one says that in Spain, because it was here for 600 years. One of the tragedies of Europe is what happened in 1492 and in 1526, when the Jews and the Muslims were expelled from this country by the church predominantly, creating a new divide. The shape of Europe, the face of Europe, the culture of Europe will be very different had that not happened. People don't like hearing about it, but it's true. So the question of Islam is, when Muslim groups do crazy, stupid things, of course you denounce them and attack them and say they should be charged, like anyone else who does things which cause loss of life. You treat them, you arrest them. You know, the history of people refer to the Al-Qaeda and groups like that as fascists, which is stupid. They remind me more of anarchists. Islamo-anarchists is how I call them. Because they think that by carrying out a sensational act, it will bring about change. That is the history of anarchism in the 18th, 19th, and early 20th centuries of Europe. And if you look at the number of heads of state killed by the anarchists, the president of France, the Tsar of Russia, They went for it. It changed nothing, of course, but it was a sensation. And even here, I mean, they weren't strictly speaking anarchists in a political sense, but the people who blew up Carrero during the French period in the heart of Madrid thought that that on its own would bring about change. I mean, it was a sensational act, but that never does it. And this is the argument to be had with these Islamic groups as well. The other point we have to ask is how come that these groups have become so strong? That's an interesting question. If you take the example of Algeria, the corruption, the misuse of state power by the FLN, and the fact that there was no alternative to this created the vacuum into which peace came. And what did they say? They are corrupt politicians, they are making money, the people are suffering. The victory of Hamas in Pakistan. The total and complete corruption of the PLO from Arafat downwards. Completely corrupt, spending the millions and billions of money they got not on doing things for their people, but on themselves, building large homes and then becoming the police force for the Israelis. There was no Palestinian authority after Oslo. The authority was Israel. The Palestinians just did what they were told to do. And that is why Hamas won. And the minute Hamas won, the European Union treated them like an NGO. We're cutting off your money because you have won the elections. We don't recognize you. The Americans did the same. We're cutting off your money. Sanctions, we don't recognize you. Well, if that's the case, then don't encourage people to have elections, genuine elections. They were free elections. Everyone said that. But the wrong side won. And when the wrong side wins, it's not acceptable, whether it's South America, whether it's the Middle East, soon whether it'll, who knows what will happen in Europe over the next 25 years, 30 years. So the reason for the victories of many of these Islamist groups is anger with what exists, and this is true in Saudi Arabia. I mean, let's even discuss the most extreme of these groups, Osama bin Laden's group, Al-Qaeda. How did Osama become so popular? Not by these actions. He became popular in Saudi Arabia because he used to circulate videos and tapes. And in these tapes, I've heard them. I mean, they're incredibly effective. Attacking the Saudi royal family, attacking their corruption, non-stop, and saying, should I tell you where Prince X is? He's sitting at a casino now here, and he named the casinos, because he knew these people. Why is our money being spent like this? That's how these guys acquired whatever popularity they had. And that is why the Egyptian Muslim brothers are convinced that they would win an election, or at least get the largest number. So these are some of the problems that